Guys, Sean here, coming at y'all with a quick little video. I know it has been a little while, but I tell you guys all the time, I'm not going to flood your feed with bullshit. I'm not going to come on here and talk about nothing. You know, I will come on here and talk when there's something to talk about. All right? Now, we've gotten into all this organized activities with the Eagles. We've heard from all the position coaches. We've heard from players. We've seen where guys are lining up. We've had a little bit of time to, you know, just kind of see what the Eagles are doing a little bit, or at least get an idea for it. All right, so it's time, guys. We're back. All right, obviously until the break, but at least with this little bit of information, it gives us stuff to talk about going forward without being assholes, you know, without just talking about rumors and, you know, nothing. You know, we can actually talk about stuff that's factual, and that we have seen, or people that are reliable have seen with their own eyes. But before we get into all that, if you've come back after this latest break that I've taken from the channel and you're here watching these videos again, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for coming back. If you're a new subscriber, or a new watcher, new listener, whatever you're doing here, just go ahead and hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. When the season rolls around, we're going to be going nonstop. Still in the middle of working on my new setup for when the season starts. I really can't wait for that. Can't wait to show you guys and start formatting these videos a little differently. But until then, like, subscribe, and support if you like what's going on here. So there's a lot I want to talk about, and I'm not going to get to all of it in this video. So obviously we're going to break this up a little bit. I'm not going to talk about each individual day. I'm not going to cover everything like everybody else has covered everything. I'm just going to talk about things that have stuck out to me over the past couple days, from the press conferences, from the players speaking, where people have been lining up, stuff like that. So basically, you know, a couple of the first things I want to talk about, the biggest question marks going into this offseason were cornerback, all right? Is James Bradberry going to be cut? You know, where does Kelee Ringo fall in, you know, all these cornerbacks? You know, where will, you know, where will Cooper DeJean play? You know, all these different questions, okay? Now we're starting to get a little bit of an idea of how things are going to go. You know, early on, I believe it was one of the first days, Isaiah Rodgers came out and absolutely stole the show. He looked like he never missed a beat. He looked like the year off could have been the best thing that ever happened to him. And from all accounts, he looked like a true, you know, number one, number two NFL corner, a starting caliber corner, which is amazing. Surprise to me, Avonte Maddox is still getting a lot of burn at slot corner. I feel like with his health, you're wasting reps. He's just going to get hurt again. I love Avonte Maddox. I love Avonte Maddox. I've rooted for him since day one, but he's just going to get hurt again. I'm really aggravated that they're not just starting DeJean at the slot cornerback position. I know they want to train him at dime linebacker. They want to train him inside and out, corner, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, it's just aggravating. You know, you've got a young guy, and he should be starting, you know. He should be the one that's in the slot there. Just like Quinyon Mitchell. Quinyon Mitchell should be your penciled-in CB2. You know, he should be your outside corner this year opposite Darius Slay. And that should be that, you know. Now, I will say Kelee Ringo came out and had an amazing day. Apparently very sticky in coverage. Running down the field with John Ross, one of the fastest NFL players of all time, you know, when it comes to 40 times and stuff like that. You know, obviously John Ross has not been the guy that everybody thought he would be, but to run with him stride for stride down the sideline at 6'2", impressive, impressive, impressive. You know, and I love that for him. And if someone is going to take Quinyon Mitchell's CB2 spot, you know, corners get burned. I'm not saying Quinyon won't get burned, but if Kelee Ringo is going to start at CB2 and Quinyon is going to take a back seat for a year, I need you to be 100% sure that Kelee is ready now and is not going to take a step back, because I feel like Quinyon being a first-round pick, the first corner off the board, the most polished corner in this draft, you have to start him day one. He gains nothing from sitting on the bench. To where Kelee Ringo, you could give him another year. He could wait another year. Watch Slay, watch Quinyon, grow some more. You know, just work on your craft, work on your game. He's a fourth-round pick. We traded a third-rounder for him, you know, so he's essentially a third-round pick. You know, I would rather see him sit back for another year. You got to baptize Quinyon Mitchell with fire. All right. And that means throwing him in right now and seeing how he does. Same with Cooper DeJean. He should be in the slot immediately. I think Maddox should, if he makes this roster, he's going to have to play special teams. He's going to have to be your backup nickel. He's going to have to be a third, fourth safety. You know, I'm not putting all of my cards into Maddox playing this year. We got a young guy from that was with the Raiders last year. Not a lot of starts, not a ton of experience, but you know, he's another guy that I think deserves some reps. You know, we just cannot get too engulfed in you know, players because they've been here for a while. You know, now I will say with Vic Fangio being the D coordinator, with all the new coaches and stuff like that, I don't think that they're just going to play guys because they've been here for a while. I really believe that Vic Fangio is playing the guys he thinks is the best. But I would also like to see them just kind of be smart about that. You know, you have to understand the long-term plan and the short-term plan while building this year. You know, it's something that the Eagles have always been kind of wishy-washy with. I want to see the long-term plan start to work out. You know, you're going to see it this year with Cam Jurgens at center. That's a long-term plan that's finally going to come to fruition. Tyler Steen, you know, Nakobe Dean, even though it's been injuries, you know, he's been waiting and waiting for his chance. Hopefully this is the year that he can really show people what he can do. Trotter Jr., I'd like to see him be a little bit more of a long-term plan. I'd like to see him on special teams this year. I really don't think they should put him on the field too much unless they have no choice. You know, I'm just worried about you ruining his confidence too soon or putting too much on his plate too early. We got to remember he's a 5th-round pick, okay? You know, Devin White at linebacker, another thing I'd like to talk about. I've heard that he's looked up and down, but at the same time, he looks better than any corner we had on the roster last year. That's an automatic win right there. As long as he's not a liability in coverage, which with his speed, you don't really expect him to be a liability in coverage, you know, he's going to be an obvious upgrade. So it's going to boil down to whoever linebacker 2 is, middle linebacker 2 is, the Mike, the, you know, Sam, whatever they call it, you know, which right now they've been playing Zach Bond, I believe is his name, at that second linebacker spot, which he's primarily a pass rusher. And I've seen a lot of people asking questions about, well, why is he playing linebacker if he's a pass rusher? Well, he comes from the Saints. And with the Saints, they never really play a normal defense. So, you know, a lot of these outside guys probably got a lot more burn at middle linebacker than what we're used to here with the schemes that we run, you know. So I think Zach Bond had a lot more potential as a coverage linebacker than people realize. And I think the pass rush element just kind of adds a level to his game. So, you know, using him as a blitzing linebacker, you know, he automatically becomes more valuable because he's used to taking on those O-linemen in a different way. So maybe with a little bit of speed behind him, you know, and the questioning of, is he in coverage? Is he blitzing? Is he faking or not? You know, maybe that'll give him an edge, and maybe he really does start this year. I see a lot of people saying that as soon as Nakobe's healthy, he's going to take his job. Well, that also is going to imply that Zach Bond does something to lose his job because he's already gotten so many reps to this point. Yes, we have a break coming. Yes, there will be more time later for people to take jobs and lose jobs. But up to this point, you can't really take away his job unless he loses it, okay? Yeah, Nakobe is younger. Yeah, you want to see the long-term plan with Nakobe. You know, you think that he's more of a polished guy. All of that's fine. But, you know, make Nakobe earn it. Give nobody nothing for free. You know, I think that's the thing on the defense this year. You know, it doesn't matter if you're on a 1-year deal or you're worth $15 million. I think if you play good, you should start. If you play good, then that's where you need to go. Outside of Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, you know, I think those are the only 2 players that you need to start right now because it's best for them. I think everyone else, it's best player. Whether that be Devin White, whether that be Nakobe Dean or Trotter or Kelee Ringo, you know, it just, if you have to play somebody, you better make sure it's your best, okay? At safety, I haven't really been seeing a lot other than Mekhi Becton, I think his name is, has really turned heads. He switched from corner to safety. He was a slot guy primarily, if I remember correctly, so the switch to safety shouldn't be too bad. We've seen Avonte do it. We've seen CJ GJ do it. Obviously, Reed and Gardner Johnson are going to be your starters. You expect Sidney Brown, who says he's going to be ready for the start of the season, to be your third guy. But who's your fourth and fifth right now? You know, who covers until Sidney Brown gets back? You know, that'll be an interesting question to see answered. You know, Jordan Davis looks slim, but I did a video on this last year. You know, oh my God, your favorite player is shredded. He's going to have an amazing year. And then look at what happened this year. Yes, he looked good in the beginning, but he fell off. It's a long season. It's getting longer. All right. Big men on the D-line in the NFL are a dying breed. You know, they're not used the way they used to be used. And things just aren't the way they were back in the day. Teams don't run as much. So if you're not conditioned to play every down, then you're not going to get a lot of a chance. So Jordan Davis, you know, all you've heard from press conferences and people around him and him himself, it's always conditioning. Yes, he looks great. Yes, that's fantastic. But I heard the same thing last year. So, you know, let's just take things slowly and see where they go. I think we've all been putting a lot of pressure on Jordan Davis, which is fair. He's a first-round pick. But, you know, we also drafted him for a specific reason. So, you know, I think we need to temper our expectations there. I think Milton Williams and Jalen Carter are realistically going to be your guys that are getting a lot of snaps, your guys that are going to run the long haul this year. But if Jordan Davis can show that he really is ready to step his game up, you know, his conditioning's better, which it will get every year. You know, every year you're working out with a bunch of NFL caliber players, you're going to get in better shape. There's no way around it. So, you know, we could have three really good guys along the middle of the D-line, and, you know, it could be really good for us this year. So, here's hoping with Jordan Davis, but at the same time, you know, let's not count our chickens before they hatch. You know, and I guess we're just going to kind of cut it off there. This kind of became mainly a defensive focus video, so, you know, that's probably what I'll title it. I'll make sure that everybody knows, you know, that we're really focusing on the defense right now. And I'll come back later with something on the offense, because there's a lot to talk about on the offense. You know, wide receiver 3, Steen, Jurgens, backup tackle, you know. There's a lot, you know, there's really a lot. So it's good to have stuff to talk about, guys. It's good to be back. And it's good, even if it's only a couple videos worth of stuff, it's just good to be back, you know, talking to you guys and sharing my thoughts with y'all and hearing what you guys got to think as well. So drop your comments down below. Tell me who on the defense you're most excited to see. And tell me, you know what, just for fun, you guys that have rocked with me for a while that comment on everything, tell me who you think's going to get cut. One surprise cut from the defense. If you could pick anybody, who would it be? And don't pick Bradbury. Everybody picks Bradbury. You know, yeah, Bradbury might get cut. He might not. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say, yeah, Bradbury's a safety now. You know, everybody out in the NFL, he's a real versatile piece. Trade for him. You know, give us a 6th-round pick so we can move the fuck on. All right? Thank you guys so much for your continued support. I love you guys. Stay tuned. We got more coming. With that being said, I'm out.